Welcome to The Worst Advice I Ever Got. We're so excited to have you with us today and to have our special guest, Gavin Guidry, with us. Gavin helps create campaigns for billion-dollar brands like Uber, Sprite, and Instagram. He's currently a creative director for Spotify and, coincidentally, the host of his own podcast, Tools for Time Traveling, which talks about the future of the creative world. Gavin, thanks for being our guest today.
Yeah, of course. Super excited.
So with all of our guests, we don't beat around the bush. We jump right into just tell us about the worst advice you ever got.
Lots of candidates there, but I would say the worst advice I ever got was to invest in Ripple.
Oh, okay. So tell us more about Ripple.
Yeah, okay.
Is that a dribble competitor?
No, but very on brand of you as a content creator to think so. It's not Dribble. No, it's Ripple, which is XRP, which is a cryptocurrency. You can find it, it's like traded on Coinbase and all. Yeah, it's one of those cryptos. But it was one of those coins, right? Like after Bitcoin blew up and Ethereum blew up and all these different coins were blowing up. It was one of these coins, but it was super cheap. So I want to say, it was like a penny or like a dime or something, like per Ripple. And then at one point in 2017, it went up to like 70 cents or something like that, or like $1.30. And so people were like, oh my God, I made $100,000. And so like when that happened, my friend was like telling me all about it. He was a coworker of mine, good dude, well-intentioned. And he was like, yeah, man, I have like $100,000. And like at the time I was like, oh my God, like that's so much
You're
money.
the queen of England.
Yeah. like you made it, quit the job and sell it like you're rich. But he was like, yeah, here's how you do it. And at the time I'd obviously heard of cryptocurrency, but I didn't have a wallet. Really had no idea how to go about.
So you were new to the whole crypto world.
I was new to the whole entire crypto world. Really new to at that point. I hadn't really even done much in investing of just like actual money, just like savings and things like that. So this was exciting because it was novel, right? So it's like something new, and there was like this whole like you'll get rich potentially sort of thing. So I was like, all right, I talked to my wife about it. I was like, I think like. Let's just put $1,000 into it. And never seen that $1,000 is not $1,000.
She gone.
So you lost it all.
I didn't lose it all, but I would say like that $1,000 is probably like $300.
Yeah.
And if I take it out, then it's never going to be more than $300.
Right.
So it's like $300 now. Didn't lose it all, but definitely was not the best way to invest my money, I'll say.
Yeah, painful. I can relate a little bit. I made an investment in the stock market early on. I didn't invest in the crypto market, but I invested in one of my first stocks, put $5,000 into the stock, and it literally went to zero. And I thought my wife was going to divorce me. Like it was bad news. Yeah. So how did this loss, right? Yeah. I mean, it was painful.
Yeah.
How did that affect you?
Yeah, I mean, part of it is like it's a little bit embarrassing to be like, I tried this thing and kind of fell flat on my face. But I think the worst part of it is I just felt very skittish going forward about investing just in general. I dipped my toe in. Yeah. Like this felt very much like a dipping of the toe. Yeah. It's like, okay, cool. Well, I want to see. But if like a shark comes up and rips your foot off or something like that, then it's like I'm not gonna dip my toe. I only got one more foot left. No. So it definitely made me super cautious. And I just felt like I got burned. Now it feels like I almost have like trust issues with investing. It's 2024, and like. It's all about being like a first mover, right? Like we learn in school about first movers and things like that. And like, I don't want to be a first mover anymore. And I think over the long term, like that's probably a good idea. But I also think that there's potential opportunities that I could miss out on when it is something legitimate. The issue with like the Ripple thing and all these Elon Musk coins that like everyone invests in and they're just trash coins is that it's just burning so many people and a lot of them are never going to come back. Like,
Right.
a lot of them have abandoned their wallets and a lot of them have just abandoned the space. And now anything that comes from that space is garbage.
Yeah.
When that's not the case, you know?
That's a great point. I think we draw conclusions on a broader population based upon a singular experience. We have scar tissue, right?
Yeah.
And so we relate everything to that. And I totally agree with you. Early stage investing produces incredible returns.
Yeah.
You've got to be prepared to lose a lot, though. And I think back to your point, going back to your initial investment, if you had invested in Ripple and say 4 others, 3 of them failed, 2 of them hit home runs.
Yep.
You're like, this is great.
Yeah.
And I'm all in. But that's not the experience you had. So it sort of created in you a more cautious approach to say.
Yeah. No, 100%.
It's a ripple effect.
Oh,
Wow.
See what I did there?
that's why they pay him the big bucks.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
One thing he talks about in the pre-interview that I really liked how you got to and you started there is the wallet. You know, is kind of bundling. People bundle this crypto with other things that are important.
Yeah. It's really about the future. Like I was telling you before we started, like I have my own little podcast and, you know, we talk about the future of creativity mostly. And the blockchain, even now, is enabling people to create like ownership of, you know, digital goods in ways that we haven't been able to do before. And I'm no expert, so I don't know if this is 100% correct. But what I've gathered is to be on chain and to be flexible, movable, nimble within the chain, you need a wallet and you need crypto and currency to be in that wallet.
Right.
And so, you know, to have this creative future, right, where we have like creators and artists and musicians that don't need labels and they don't need agencies and they don't need, you know, all these different, you know, powers that be these distribution companies and stuff, like they can do it on their own and just like be artists and have ownership via the blockchain. We need lots of people on chain who are able to buy and sell and be like proprietors of that content, of those digital goods.
Yeah.
The issue when you have these get rich quick schemes of the Ripples and the Doge coins and stuff like that, and when it's like, oh well, I invested, I don't have a wallet anymore, or my friend invested, or whatever, and like they got burned, why would I sign up and get a wallet? And what we need for this like blockchain future to really take off and like for artists and creators to be able to sustain themselves, we need like a mass of the population on chain. Like we need like JB, like your mom and my mom need to like have wallets. And like we are nowhere close to the point where they're gonna have wallets. One, it's too hard.
Yeah.
2, it's like, well, what, am I gonna get hacked? Am I gonna get you know whatever? Is this just gonna flop? And
Fear.
Well,
fear.
and bad
All the
advice.
fears.
and bad advice.
And bad advice. I hear you describing a marketplace.
Exactly. Yeah. 100%.
We don't have the marketplace yet.
Yeah.
But something very interesting, you got burned based upon investing in this one coin, yet you're talking about to have this creative marketplace, we need more people coming in to take some of these risks.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting dichotomy, right? It's like we need more risk takers, and that's really what our marketplace is built upon. Entrepreneurial risk takers that have gone out there, and it's about trying to filter through the good ones and the bad ones.
Yeah.
That's hard to do, but we have to be okay getting hurt, getting back up, going back at it, right? Yeah. You're very creative. You're in a creative, you know, workplace. Your job is very creative, and you have to take risks. Yeah. Creative people naturally take risks.
Totally.
So it's very interesting to see that you got a little burned investing in something that was new, a creative marketplace, yet it didn't necessarily stop your creative, natural way of approaching things.
Yeah, well, you know, I think and here's where the difference is, right? Like when I invested, I don't think I was investing enough in the marketplace. I think I was just investing in like a get rich quick.
Yeah.
Right? Because I was like, I'm going to dip my toe to get the money, but it took me a while to really understand the viability of not necessarily just cryptocurrency, but that marketplace, like you were saying.
Yeah.
And like there is like, this technology, it's not just a get rich quick scheme. And I think like that's the issue. And, obviously like this is America, it's a capitalist society. There's always going to be some sort of like capitalist intention, I guess, to everything. But that to me, I feel like is kind of what's almost, it's funny because it's almost standing in the way of the marketplace, because
Definitely
like,
is.
Yeah, because you're basically saying this coin is so you can get rich, rather than this coin is so that we can build this sort of like future marketplace where you can like buy and sell the same way you do with a debit card. But but it's decentralized and all of this stuff. But the get rich quick and all the documentaries that they're making about like crypto bros and all that stuff is now what's standing in the way, because it's like this. I was telling JB this. It's like it's like, okay, this crypto is a new thing, and it's like Morpheus from the Matrix is like, we have red pill and the blue pill. Like you can either like use this as a way to like decentralized banking and like have financial freedom and like give the control to people, or you can make a lot of money. And like everyone was like, give me the money.
Give me the money. I'll take the blue pill.
Yeah, I'll take the blue pill.
Yeah.
And so it's weird, because that's sort of like what's standing in the way, I think, of like a little bit more flourishing in the future.
I think a lot of the stories are on the gains and the losses. This coin gained this.
Yep.
This coin lost this. And we're all focused on the individual performance versus, to your point, the viability of the entire network, the viability 100%. Of the marketplace.
Yeah.
And if we come together in the context of trying to build a marketplace that can be successful, maybe we have a better shot. But people unfortunately approach it with, hey, what can I turn this into?
Yeah.
What kind of return can I get out of this?
The only thought they have. They
Yeah.
think this is crypto. Crypto's get rich quick. And that's the only thing I should think about. That's the only thing. It's the only reason it's there.
Yeah.
And when it doesn't work and people get bad advice like Gavin got, it's a ripple effect.
Well, and huge, man.
He's really trying to make ripple effect.
Yeah, goodness gracious. It's interesting. I can relate a lot to what you're talking about here with that loss and how it affected you. I've kind of gotten back on the horse again, so to speak. Do you ever see yourself going back in and investing maybe in an individual business or an individual coin, or has this sort of prevented you from ever wanting to take that step?
Yeah, I definitely see myself getting back into what like Web3 and the blockchain in some sort of way.
Okay.
I don't know if it'll be, like I was saying before, sometimes you have to invest in a coin in order to have like any sort of like mobility on chain. So there's definitely the possibility that I'll invest there, but I think one of the best things I did was just like linked up with a financial advisor. And so I would definitely recommend folks to like seek expert opinions, because I was able to get just like a full view of money, cash flow, savings, liability has a big part to do with money that people don't think about.
Right.
And that makes it so like, okay, well, I'm not just like, wishing on a star here with this and like hoping something sticks. No, I have like an actual strategy. So like you were saying, if I know how much, okay, I can put this here if this is a little bit risky, because I'm doing all of these other things that are not risky. Now I think because I have a more holistic view of my finances and things like that, and feel a lot more confident, I can do some riskier things and actually invest, because I have other investments that are less risky.
Yeah.
So I definitely invest now, not in the crypto space. Let's say there's an opportunity to invest in something like you were saying, like a business, or invest in some sort of new technology. I think now, learning from getting burned in the past, as well as, just gaining that sort of like that expert confidence, like through working with an advisor, I'd be more likely to take that sort of step, that sort of jump.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't go into another coin. If someone's like, hey, you can make $10,000 tomorrow.
Oh no, that's never the way.
Well, that's that whole
never the way.
I mean, frankly, it's the get rich quick kind of thing,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
If there's any get rich quick, Gavin is out.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, I don't know if get rich quick is real or not.
I was wondering the same thing.
Like,
I don't
think
know a
that's
lot of
even real.
people that have gotten rich quick. I know a lot of people who have tried to get rich quick and
Yeah.
lost big.
Yeah.
And so that is a truly, truly high risk, potential high reward scenario with real extremes. The financial advisory piece, I really appreciate that since we're financial advisors. That was a nice little plug there.
I honestly didn't do that.
No, I know you didn't.
On
It's
purpose.
perfect.
Yeah.
But I can't let that pass. No, the point is you've created in your mind a diversified portfolio, right? I'll do some things that are riskier, but I'll do some things that are more concrete, safe, secure. And that's very smart. And it allows you then to take some risks. And you know what? If I lose it, that's okay.
Yeah.
And if it hits a little bit bigger, that's okay. And when I was describing earlier, I've gotten back in and made a few investments like that. It's somewhat because I've created that similar framework that you're talking about. And I work with a financial advisor at Smith & Howard Wealth Management for that very purpose.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of that's the best advice I've ever gotten. Like, we were talking about the worst advice I've ever got. Like, that's the best advice I've ever got. It's just like work with a financial advisor and like build up. I mean, it makes it so much easier to like maneuver in other spaces, I think.
Feel confident about your moves.
Yeah, totally.
What message would you give to somebody who received similar advice?
So I would say if you've heard advice like, invest in this coin or invest in this company, invest in this stock, you're gonna make $100. Like, did you see what's happening on Reddit? Like, to me, and I think maybe a shared understanding is like, there's no such thing as get rich quick, right? Like, it's like, if you do happen to get rich quick, you're probably gonna get poor quick. You're probably gonna lose that money real quick. And there's no like it's really about a long-term strategy. Like it's fun. Like they just put out that Dumb Money movie.
I watched that. I literally flew back from Vegas this weekend and I watched that. The whole GameStop, Robinhood environment and the squeeze. I mean, fascinating.
But like, and I haven't seen the movie. I actually didn't. I just heard it when it was happening, and people were like, "Oh, I'm buying GameStop stock." But like, did any of that last? Like, I actually don't know. But I feel like the answer is probably not.
Not really.
And those people, are there people in jail? Like, I don't know.
Well,
I don't wanna
definitely
go to jail.
not.
Okay.
Look,
I don't want to go to jail.
It was very artificial versus concrete, right?
Okay,
And so, when you're investing in something, I think you have to get a better understanding of the core of what you're investing in, especially if you're going all in with a business or with a concept, right?
Yeah.
Or with a coin.
Yeah.
And it takes a little more due diligence. It takes a little more work. You can't just say, "Oh, that's great. Let me grab that and go with it."
Yeah.
And that's where I think, look, I'm all for capitalism and entrepreneurialism and taking risks. Thank God we have people that did that.
Yeah.
Our own firm was founded based upon two guys that left a very established place to start something from scratch. And the first few years were very lean, right? So we need that.
Yeah.
But I think when you're looking to invest in something like that, you better get a core understanding of who's behind it, what's behind it.
Yeah.
Does it have a chance before you just say, "Oh yeah, based upon your general advice, I'll throw $1,000 at that."
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
No, that's such a great point. Yeah, definitely do the research because even I think what I learned after investing in the coin was that like all of these coins technically are supposed to have some sort of like use.
Yeah.
Like that's why they were made. Like they're not just money. Even the ones that do make money, like they are supposed to have some sort of use. And I didn't understand that use. Like I invested and then read up on it instead of reading up on it first. Like there's also like, oh, well, there's now laws against this coin or and that has a lot to do with the volatility. It's like, oh, well, the SEC is investigating it now. So it's going to plunge.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, now it's not under investigation. So it's going to go up.
Yeah.
And so like, it's good to know about the histories, the uses, who's behind it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I would say that's great advice.
Why is this the advice you said in the beginning, I have a lot. Why is this the one that stuck out to you?
Yeah, I think that this advice is the worst advice, or at least the advice that stuck out to me, because I just think it has a lot of implications. And, I just think that there's so much opportunity in new technologies that are happening. And I think it would just be a shame for people to abandon it or, sort of like push it away just because of what they've heard. Like there's a lot of bad hype around crypto, which affects blockchain as a whole and Web3 as a whole, but there's a lot of viability in that. There's a lot of opportunity in that, and I think like it's definitely top of mind for this time, because it just feels like a watershed moment in technology and creativity and anything that could help individual creators and can help decentralize and all of that good stuff. I think should be invested in.
I think it's great because I think there's a lot of people out there who got burned the same way you did on some of these investments, and you didn't walk away from it, from the environment, from promoting it, from the viability of it, even though you were burned, which I don't think is the natural reaction for most people. I think they would say, I'm never going there again. You're basically saying, hey, wait a minute, this has legs, this has viability, and don't let yourself be dismayed completely from the marketplace that we need to create simply because you got hurt.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I'm passionate about this stuff. I mean, JB knows, like anybody who knows me just knows I'm very passionate about creativity. So even though I've been burned by that, I think like it makes you a better version of yourself.
Right.
Like you need to, in order to have that, you need to have something that you're sort of striving towards. For me, it's like a better creative future and like empowering creative people. I think that there are ways to do that. And, I don't want like my experience and experiences other people have had with this sort of like get rich crypto bro thing to stand in the way of that. I feel too passionately.
I think at the end of the day, when we get bad advice many times, the ripple effect.
Boom.
I took that from you, Jim. I wasn't going to let you have this one all to yourself.
We did it.
The ripple effect of bad advice is a better you in the future. And I think what you're describing to me is I'm better off having had that experience now because it has me approach things in a smarter way.
Yep.
And hopefully that's what really each of these episodes helps our listeners understand is the worst advice we ever receive sometimes makes us the best version of us that we can possibly be.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story because it's very applicable and I think we gained a lot from it. So
awesome. Yeah, well, no, thank you. Thank you for the space and the advice.
Thank you, Gavin. Really appreciate you being with us today. At Smith & Howard, we're not in the business of giving bad advice. We're in the business of giving great advice. So if you need some help, be sure to connect with us. And tune in next time wherever you listen to your podcast for The Worst Advice I Ever Got.